Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about when I see the next basketball boom to happen. Right now, we're seeing football cards absolutely on fire. We've seen certain football cards go up as much as 30-40%. Of course, you have certain football cards that are going down. But I am going to be breaking down what I see to be happening in the basketball market right now and what I think is going to happen over the next 4 to 6 months. Before we get into it, I did want to say, you guys know we are going back to our giveaways. We are going to be giving away a box of 2023 Prism basketball for our next giveaway. So in this next week, if you guys would like a chance to enter, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, comment the word done down below, and you will be entered in to win a 2023 Prism basketball box. So without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So as you guys know, the NBA playoffs are underway and there is a lot of hype around certain teams, certain players, but overall the market has been incredibly stagnant. In fact, a lot of the main cards have been going down quite a steady amount just because a lot of guys had money invested in Luka Doncic, Zion Williamson, and a handful of other players such as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that did not make the playoffs. And this is really dragging the whole market down because we see so much money cooped in guys like Luka, Zion, Trae Young, guys who are just do not have championship aspirations this year, right? And so we're seeing a lot of those cards really start to bottom out. We've seen certain Luka cards go down as much as 30% over the last couple of weeks. We've seen Zion cards down as much as 90% in the last year or two. So we're seeing an absolute bloodbath in a lot of players' markets. Now, of course, you see certain guys staying steady. Guys who have championship aspirations, guys like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and a handful of other guys, including Giannis, even though he has been injured. You do see a good amount of demand there, but overall the basketball market has not really been doing good. And a lot of times during the playoffs, everyone's expecting this big boom, and you see prices not really do good. And even players who are playing well during these playoffs usually are not going to see their prices increase right now. And I will explain that in a little bit. We see it happen every single year when prices just don't really move much in the playoffs, because when a player has a good game, the people who have that player's card, their intuition is to sell the card because it's a good time to sell the card. Now, enough people think that way, and when people have good games, a lot of supply hits the market. And when supply hits the market and the demand isn't quite there to meet that supply, prices can even go down when a player has a good game, and we've seen that happen. We saw that happen even when Giannis won a championship. His prices were staying steady, if not going down. So it is a very interesting phenomenon. It's simply supply and demand, and more supply hits the market when players, do really well. Now, on the other hand, you see guys like Trevor Lawrence in the NFL right now. In the offseason, he had a great postseason. You didn't really see his prices react much when he was playing well and when he had that big comeback versus the Chargers. However, this offseason, you are seeing his cards react to what happened last season because people are prepping for next season. And so you got to think, for demand to be there has to be anticipation, because when there's anticipation for something to happen, then people want to buy the card in anticipation of something happening. So if I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have an MVP season next year, which some people do, I'm going to buy that card in anticipation for his MVP season. Now, if he has an MVP season, I'm probably going to sell the card. And then if enough people think that way, then when people want to buy the card in anticipation of an MVP season, you see his prices go up. Yet if he wins an MVP, you're not really going to see his prices go up much, because now people want to sell off because they were right, and now they expect good gains and they expect to sell off. We saw Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl and his prices did not really react. And I think we're seeing this happen way too consistently for people not to be questioning what the reason is behind it. And I think what's going to happen in this NBA offseason is we're going to start to see whoever played well in the playoffs, their prices are going to jump in anticipation of next season. The new teams who are expected to win the championship next season, they're going to see a big price increase. And a lot of people who, had great postseasons, their prices may not go up during this postseason. And I think they won't, because the supply that's hitting the market every time someone has a good game is pretty absurd. You see players having great games, having breakout games. Like De'Aaron Fox right now is playing out of his mind. His prices have gone up, but more so they went up in anticipation of the NBA playoffs. Now that we're in the NBA playoffs, a lot of people are actually selling off his cards because they might have seen good gains on his cards. And so now they want to sell off. They bought it in anticipation of the NBA playoffs. He went up 2-0 versus the Warriors, and then people wanted to sell off. And that's why we're not seeing his prices really continuously going up. And I think this offseason, there could be a huge, massive opportunity for guys like De'Aaron Fox, who had a big season last season, and they're going to be expected to have a big season next year, another jump in their game next year. And I think if players level up in the playoffs and get to new tiers in terms of talent and just young stardom, they get to a new tier in this NBA playoffs and the prices do not go up, we could see over the offseason their prices really take a jump like we saw happen with Trevor Lawrence. And I think a lot of basketball prices are going to boom in this offseason, especially for players who have big postseasons and guys who have a lot of anticipation for next year. Whoever the MVP favorites are going to be heading into next year, their prices are going to see a big increase in the offseason because people are going to be anticipating a big season from them. And I think it's a great time to buy because you have no risk, no injury risk, not much injury risk over the offseason unless someone gets injured while training like Klay Thompson. But there's not much injury risk. There's not much risk of a player just totally not meeting expectations, but there's just a great supply and demand because at the end of the season, the demand just hits an all-time low. We saw that happen with NFL. Prices bottomed out in February, and prices are already increasing and have already increased quite a lot into March and April. I think the NBA could see the similar things. We see prices bottom out in June, and July, we start to see a slight increase. August, a better increase. And September, a real big increase leading into the season in October. And I think this is a pattern that we are really seeing where prices really start the season up here, end the season down here, start the next season up here. And that's kind of just how we are rolling right now, where the hobby's at right now. Not so much new money coming in, but more so money being cycled throughout the whole market. So people are buying into certain players and selling off and buying into other players. I think there is going to be a time where Fanatics truly markets this hobby and we start to see just an influx of buyers. And when we see an influx of buyers, then we can have a lot of prices across the board go up. But right now, what we're kind of seeing is some prices go up while some prices go down. Then the other way happens. So right now, we're seeing NFL go up, NBA go down. I think we're going to see NFL go down when the season starts, NBA go up. So it's just kind of cycles that I'm seeing in the market. Of course, things can always change. Cycles can be broken. But if I were a betting man, that's what I would bet on, that we're going to see a big offseason for NBA prices. We're seeing a lot of players' prices really bottom out. And a great opportunity is finding players that could change teams for next season. That is a big way to make money. If you can find players when their prices are down here, guys like DeMar DeRozan, who potentially could be joining a new team this offseason. His prices are obviously at a floor low. The Bulls have hardly any expectations on them right now. There's not much attention on DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. Yet if he ends up in a team like the Lakers or the Clippers or another star team, you could really see his